Welcome to the Sports Show. Mike Max, Patrick Racy, and Sid Hartman. Just two of them because I wanted to assemble an all-star panel for the all-star game. We got the two guys, the only two guys in the cities I think that have covered all three or been at all three, 65, 85, and of course this year. Sydney, how are you? What does this do for you when we have an all-star game in Minnesota?
I don't know. I can't get too excited about it. I just can't. The first time we had it was great. Second time we had it was a little less, and I think they still got some tickets. I mean, they were expecting some tickets back from the office.
It'll be sold out, though, by game time.
The home run derby, I was told, was more popular than the game as far as tickets go.
In some other markets, but not here. Here, the prices for the home run derby tickets have gone down, and the game is a hard sellout. The game is, you know, the commissioner's office takes 13,000 tickets to give to the sponsors. The Sunday stuff, you know, today was soft, very soft ticket because they don't take the 13,000 tickets for that one. So the commissioner's office, you know, I mean, the Twins had to sell 40,000 for that game, and they had 27,000 for the other two games. So
even the pole lads have to pay for their own suite, I'm told.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
yeah. Baseball gets every nickel they can.
To rent your own suite.
What amazed me though is in my seats in the Legends Club, $375 for the game, which is, I figured, $325 for the home run derby.
Really?
That close, yeah.
Besides $375?
$375 for the game, but the home run derby was only $50 cheaper, and then other people who are sitting other places tell me that it's amazing how close together the prices are. Now here on the, you know, Ticket King in those places, I've seen Mike quoted as saying the home run derby tickets got real soft. The game tickets are not soft, but the home run derby ticket, I don't think we're quite as into the home run derby. Maybe we don't expect many home runs at Target Field.
Yeah, I was going to say, maybe Target Field, nobody thinks anybody's going to hit one. Patrick, you've covered, what was your favorite All-Star game to cover?
Well, I don't know. I bet some good ones. I think maybe when Kelly was managing in '92 and they knocked the heck out of Tom Glavine out in San Diego. Yep. Remember that?
Boom, boom, boom. Yep.
He kind of got the fellas in the clubhouse before the game and said, okay, well, if we want to win this game, just to kind of, he'll throw that changeup out in the outside corner and then hit it to right field, and they knocked him around. That was fun. And
were you in Cincinnati the night that Kelly managed and Steinbach won the MVP? And
yes, I was there at that one too. That was a great one for me because the morning of the game, I had been down to Calumet, wasn't it, where Secretariat was a few years earlier, and I got to know the guys down there. So Kelly's Mr. Horse, and I called him. I saw him Monday. I says, you want to go down to see Secretariat tomorrow morning? I'll call the guy. I picked him up at 6 a.m. We drove down to Paris, Kentucky, and hung out there for a couple hours, and he got to know Seth Hancock, and he had the time of his life, but they were going nuts back in Cincinnati because they wanted him to do all these interviews and stuff.
And he wasn't back, huh?
Kelly was down there watching Secretariat and talking horses with Seth Hancock. That was fun.
Take me back to 1965, Sid. I mean, you don't realize it, but now I do. I mean, the All-Star Game in the World Series in the same year in Minnesota.
Oh, that was amazing, you know. People were still so happy about getting Major League Ball. And then on top of it, in '65, you get a team that's contending, that's beating the Yankees, and you get the All-Star Game, and the stadium was a dump. They couldn't do anything. There's no comparison between...
But at that time, that was a standard, decent stadium, right?
Yeah, it was a normal stadium back then,
Couple of decks,
nobody,
and a big scoreboard, and you're happy, right?
We weren't embarrassed by it, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, that was a big year. I mean, everybody got excited when they got football here, but at that time, they were more excited about the baseball.
Oh, I'll bet.
No doubt about it. Get a major league team and then play the Dodgers of all things in the World Series, and it was really something. So
you got to remember this too. But we got a good baseball team and we got a bad football team.
Yeah.
The Vikings weren't any good.
They were an expansion team versus a team
and
that was
the
already
Gophers
in play.
were still big, but that '65 thing, I wasn't working in the media yet, but I was at the Star Tribune as a copy boy. But Maxie, Sunday, Harmon, you're playing the Yankees. The Yankees have won 5 straight pennants. You're playing the Yankees, and the Yankees, Mantle's hurt, and the Yankees are dying, and you get them into town here, and you basically have a chance to put the nail in their coffin the weekend before the All-Star game. And on Sunday, Harmon hits that famous 2-run, 2-out, 3-2 home run off Pete Mickelson to beat the Yankees 6-5, and the Yankees are dead. And you're now 5 in front of the White Sox in the American League, and the Yankees are dead. And you got the All-Star game coming to town.
Point of reference, though, for people that from a different generation.
10-team American League.
10-team.
No divisions.
Winner goes to World Series. There's no divisions at this time.
Winner. So. And those, I wouldn't say 72 hours, 48 hours between Harmon's home run and that All-Star game might have been the greatest 48 hours until 87 in Minnesota baseball history, because you got the National League coming to town, and you got the National League coming to town. You got Joe Torre catching, you got Ernie Banks playing first, you got Pete Rose playing second, you got Maury Wills playing short, you got Dick Allen playing third, you got Henry Aaron, Willie Mays, and Willie Stargell in the outfield. You got Frank Robinson, Billy Williams, and Roberto Clemente as the backup outfield. You got Marichal starting. You got Gibson, Koufax, Drysdale, and you get behind 5-0. You come back and take a tie at 5-5. Harmon hits a home run. You get behind 6-5, and Tony hits a double in the 9th inning, and you don't get him home, and you lose 6-5. It was a great All-Star game, and Gene Mauch was managing because the Cardinals manager had gone to the Yankees.
Okay.
So they took the second-place manager.
Oh, that's how they did it.
They took the second-place manager, and the other manager was Al Lopez, because they finished they finished second in '64. So you had two legendary managers from second-place teams, Mauch and Lopez. It was great.
Talk more about that when we come back. The Sports Show, an all-star edition. Stay with us.
The Sports Show is brought to you in part by Canterbury Park 24/7 Card Club. Don't forget the Card Club at Canterbury Park. Cambria, makers of quality quartz surfaces. Ticket King. For the best price on tickets anywhere, try Ticket King. And Soundpoint Audiology. Life is worth hearing.
Quality. It's the result of shared values. The joy found in an honest day's work. Respect for true American craftsmanship and the need, not the want, to get things right. It's the result of remembering your roots, being forever humbled by how far you've traveled and forever hungry to push on further. Quality is a result. Quality is who we are. Cambria. Family owned, American made. If you have a collision at 25 miles an hour and you're not wearing a seatbelt, it's like falling from a 2-story building. At 40 miles an hour, it's like falling from 6 stories high. And at 60 miles an hour, if you're not wearing your seatbelt and you crash, it's like falling from 12 stories high. Buckle up. A message from the Minnesota Department of Public Safety.
We're here in this auto graveyard to demonstrate a remarkable car polish. New Finish, the once-a-year car polish. Simply wipe it on and just wipe it off. It's that easy. And look, New Finish restored a deep, hard shine even to this weather-beaten car. We polished this car with New Finish and ran it through 52 car washes. Even after heavy-duty detergents and powerful scrubbing, the water still beads. So get New Finish.
Are you watching how fast you're going?
I didn't know I was speeding.
I was going down a hill.
Speeding?
I didn't see the sign.
I don't think so.
But nobody else is on the road.
My foot fell asleep.
I gotta pick up my kids at daycare.
Is it because I'm driving a red car?
I didn't see you. My wife's going into labor, sir.
I didn't know. I was looking at a different gauge.
I'm not really from around here.
Something must be wrong with the speedometer.
Trust us, we've heard it all. Now hear this. Extra speed enforcement is on Minnesota roads. There's no excuse for speeding.
But I always
go this fast.
Audi A4 drivers have spoken. And they rank the A4 highest in total quality index in its class. Experience the new Audi A4 at your local dealer today.
Main Street is filled with hopes and dreams. The only thing you need is the right partner. The beacon of light that shines, that says we are in this together. That is Beacon Bank. Locally owned and community committed. They understand what you need. And they are your personal answer, your friend in business and in life. Allow the folks at Beacon Bank to be a part of your life because they make dreams come true. Beacon Bank, it's a member of the FDIC and an equal housing lender.
Looking for a nice, big, juicy rack of ribs?
Fabulous chops, huge steaks, and the Buddy Bowl? Then J.D. Hoyt's is the place for you. Hoyt's opened in 1983, and Mike Andrews and his partner John White have kept this Minnesota tradition at the top of the food chain. Managing owner Pat Montague gives us a tour.
At J.D. Hoyt's, enjoy a relaxed atmosphere, great food, friendly service, private dining room, second-to-none happy hour, and great outdoor dining, just blocks from the new ballpark.
Located at 394 in North Washington, locally owned, nationally known, Hoyt's.
J.D. Hoyt's, man, that's the place to be for this all-star pork chop and all-star steak for the all-star week. Pat will take care of you. It'll be full, and it'll be a lot of fun. What were you going to say, Sid?
Let me say this about that and see if Sid agrees with me. To me, even though we got a team in 61 and had been in a couple of pennant races in 62 and 3, that was Minnesota's coming out party. That's when the big-time
the city became major league, so
that's when the big-time sports writers from the New York Times and the Chicago Tribune and all around it came to town and saw our ballpark in the cornfield on a beautiful summer day and found out it doesn't snow in Minnesota in July. And that was Minnesota's a major league town. That was our coming out party as far as I'm concerned.
No doubt about it. I mean, the fact that they laughed at Minnesota before that, minor league town, the biggest PR they got when guys like Ted Williams went up and some of these great players
went. Called up from the minor leagues and they're playing the cities.
Yeah, but baseball made the town. In fact, John Coles, that was the #1 thing. He wasn't worried about football. The publisher, the owner of the Star Tribune, they were trying to get a baseball franchise. That was a major league town.
But didn't the Twins lead the American League in attendance for X amount of years in the 60s too? I mean, this wasn't just it wasn't a one-year wonder or something like that,
they
right?
led the year in attendance.
It tells you about the change in baseball, where the Twins this year are going to draw 2.4 maybe, and will be very disappointed. The Twins led the American League from 61 through 70 for the decade by averaging 1.4 million.
Isn't that? Remember, every year we'd wonder if a million was the magic mark in the 70s. Could they hit a million?
Nobody went to baseball games before Memorial Day or after Labor Day.
Yep.
So you had to draw all your people in the summer. You were a first-place ball club in the middle of May, and Sunday afternoon you'd have 10,000 if you were lucky.
Yeah. Wow. It's amazing the growth since. Especially since Sealy got commissioner.
Well, the population has grown too, so I mean, you've got more people, and it's easier transfer-wise.
The expansion cities help a lot too. That are drawing people.
Did they play the All-Star?
8 teams in.
Did they play the All-Star game at night?
No, day game.
I thought I heard that. That was a day game.
Oh yeah, day
so it's a day game.
No, the players they had a luncheon on Monday. Okay, they'd come in and they had a luncheon on Monday, and everybody's garage who was a big Twins fan has this green plate. Remember that green plate that Calvin had at the luncheon, and they probably had it at the Leamington and had 1,000 people there, and getting those green plates, man, was the big deal. And then they took batting practice and played the ball game.
Tuesday afternoon.
Yeah, Tuesday morning they had batting practice, and They put a few flags up. They put some bunting up and a little extra box, and boy, that was spiffy.
Commissioner gets to sit close to the field, and you have a game, huh?
Yep.
That was big then, because you're a minor league town before that, and nobody ever dreamed we would get the baseball team that early.
What was Calvin's reputation with the other owners?
Well, they knew how cheap he was. He wouldn't spend any money. I mean,
but they probably liked that.
No, back then, no, it was not a problem. He wasn't
perceived that way.
I think 65, he had the biggest payroll in the American League, but it was $3 million or something.
Sure, and he was making a lot of money because he had the fans.
Yeah.
Well, his reputation was good until the free agency happened.
Yeah. Catfish Hunter ended that, huh?
That killed him.
What killed him? Firing Billy Martin.
It really, I can remember 15 years removed from that and having guys that I thought were much older than me saying, I haven't been to a game since they fired Martin.
The next year, they actually won 2 more games with Rigney, I think, and had a hell of a ball club, and attendance went down just a little. But once they stopped losing, because Billy was gone. If Billy had still been your manager in 71, 2, and 3 when they started losing, you still would have drawn okay.
Yeah.
But boom, once they started losing in 71, all hell went.
Tom Meade tells a story about firing of Bill Martin. Calvin called Tom Meade up to tell me he's going to fire him, and his wife was there, and she says, Calvin, you're going to regret that decision the rest of your life. And they did. He was, without a doubt, the most popular manager we ever had here.
Just because he was so charismatic.
Huh?
Because he was so charismatic.
Yeah.
People loved him for the arguing with umpires, and they had that feisty attitude. He was, I don't know.
But he was also a charmer, wasn't he? When he wanted to be?
You knew him. I didn't know him that well. I thought he was a despicable human being.
Well, you find
liked him.
Umpires. He screamed with the umpires, kicked dirt on the umpires. He did crazy things. For instance, when they played that World Series game with the Dodgers, he got Dick Erickson, the groundkeeper, up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and they had Maury Wills, who was a great runner
for the Dodgers,
and they put water.
They soaked it down so he couldn't. It would be tough for him.
They shoveled in
dirt.
They shoveled in grass. They shoveled in sand. They shoveled in wheelbarrows full of sand to soften it up around first base, and the Dodgers noticed it, and they had to come out and take it out, or a lot of it out.
So there was an official ruling on that. I mean,
the Dodgers.
Got caught.
That was Martin's idea.
Yeah, the Dodgers came out for BP, and Maury Wills sunk down to his ankles when he was standing at first, and they made him take. But Erickson, Dick Erickson always said he only took half about.
Pardon me?
Dick Erickson said he only took about half of the sand that they took out. But here's the thing about that '65 World Series: they come here and they're run. We're home run hitters. They're, run. The go Dodgers because they couldn't hit. But we get out there and it's like this. The field is like this.
Oh, sure.
Concrete.
Yeah.
The Dodgers made it out of concrete. They got Harmon playing third, and they're chopping the ball over his head. So they cheated more than the Twins did.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't remember. Did that series go 3 at home? I mean, did the Twins win all the games at home?
No. Yeah, Twins won 3. Then Game 7, they lost here to Koufax.
Yes, they lost 1 at that stadium.
Just the last one.
Okay, take a break, come back, stay with us.
Attention, please get a pencil. Announcing a hearing breakthrough, a microchip that is so small it can fit on the head of a pin, worn hidden entirely in your ear canal, making you hear clear as a bell. And it's proudly made in the USA. Do you feel left out of conversations? Is it difficult to hear words in noisy environments? Do others say that you listen to the TV or radio too loudly? Do you feel like a bother to others due to your problems hearing? If you answered yes, you may qualify for this new chip in the ear. Only 50 participants are needed to try this microchip, so get a pencil. Call now to see if you qualify. This revolutionary chip actually mimics the natural sound selection of the human ear. With multi-core microprocessors, technology used in the most advanced computers, sounds are analyzed and classified each millisecond, controlling noise and making speech clear. Do not wait. Call now to see if you qualify to wear this revolutionary new microchip.
I have evidence that proves my dad's a space alien. Speaks a weird language. Drinks green stuff. He says he's from Albuquerque. I'm not buying it. I mean, just look at him. And one more thing. He has a spaceship. The evidence doesn't lie. My dad's an alien.
The highly advanced Audi A6, named to car and drivers 10 best. Experience exceptional value on the Audi A6 at your local dealer today.
Stop on by Audi Minneapolis, say hi to Charlie and the gang, and drive out with an A8. You will drive out happy for all 4 seasons. Perfect to put that air conditioning on or that vent on. Have an all-star week at Audi. Welcome back.
I got to tell you one more 65 story, the 65 World Series. My old man, who was a little goofy, I had a connection with the Twins. He and Angelo Giuliani were buddies, right? They went.
Angelo's always out beating the
Angelo used to come down pheasant hunting all the time.
And we'll probably watch some games at
Southwestern Minnesota, and even my old man were buddies. So the old man used Angelo, and then through Angelo, he got to know Sherry Robertson, and he ended up with about 8-10 tickets for the World Series. And remember, we went into Murray's the night before the first game, and the old man fans these tickets out on the table at Murray's, and he's saying, I don't know how I'm going to get rid of these World Series tickets. I don't know anybody who wants it. Everybody in the bar everybody in the restaurant is saying, oh, we'll take the tickets. And he said, you don't want tickets. It's just the World Series. He loved agitating people. Oh,
but you were there in the stands.
Yeah, we had good seats. We sat in 65 All-Star game, I had good seats, but the
World Series,
I think I only went to 2 games. I went to the.
Well, they played 4.
I went to the second one and the 6th one.
What the heck? I got a question for you. Sam Mealy. Who was Sam Mealy, the manager? I never hear anybody talk about him. They talk about he managed the teams, but nobody ever says anything about it.
Well, they fired Cookie Lavaghetto, who was their manager, Washington manager here, and Mealy, I thought was a pretty good manager, but they had a doctor at that time, and I'm not going to mention his name, and he and Mealy didn't get along, and he convinced Calvin that Mealy mentally is not 100% sound, and he can't manage the team.
God, that was 68.
Fired him.
30 years later, I was talking to Sam Mealy, who was just fine down in Winter Haven. No, Sam Mealy, I didn't know him, but, we liked Sam. He took us to the World Series.
He was a good guy.
68, they kind of stopped playing. They stopped. No, 67, right?
67.
67, they kind of stopped playing for him in the middle of the year, and they thought they had a great club, and they brought in Cal Irmer, who was like as low-key as you could get, and that was the team that lost the last weekend in Boston.
In Boston.
Yeah.
Jim Cott.
But Sam had a good run.
Right?
But we found out early that this was a strange organization in 61 because, a month into the season, they gave Cookie Lavaghetto a leave of absence for a couple of weeks, right?
Really? Yeah.
They said he needed a rest.
What was that about? Do you ever know? Or?
Don't know. And then he came back, and then he got fired a couple of weeks later.
This organization, nothing like the one now. I mean, they had Billy Robertson, Jimmy Robertson.
Who was the first general manager of the Twins?
The first guy that got
Andy MacPhail.
They made deals.
Andy MacPhail was probably the first guy to be an actual true general manager.
They didn't have any general manager.
It was just Calvin and
George Brophy.
Yeah.
George Brophy was kind of like the general manager.
He was Calvin's guy.
He kind of signed a lot of players.
Take a break, come back, stay with us.
If you guys could go on a free shopping spree anywhere, where would you go? I'd go to the grocery store. Pizza, ice cream. I'd go shop for clothes. You know where I go? I go to Ticket King. Ticket King! At Ticket King, you can buy great seats for the Vikings, Christian Ponder, the Wild, Zach Parise, the Timberwolves, Ricky Rubio, and of course the Twins. We love the Twins. Yes, this is where I go Eagle, Vikings, Twins, Wild, Timberwolves, Gophers, theater, and concerts too. Justin Bieber! Hey, I like him first. For details, go to TicketKingOnline.com. Any ticket, anytime, anywhere. It's the real thing. It's Ticket King. Right, Dad?
Couldn't have said it any better myself.
That's for sure.
Main Street is filled with hopes and dreams. The only thing you need is the right partner. The beacon of light that shines, that says we are in this together. That is Beacon Bank. Locally owned and community committed. They understand what you need. And they are your personal answer. Your friend in business and in life. Allow the folks at Beacon Bank to be a part of your life because they make dreams come true. Beacon Bank, it's a member of the FDIC and an equal housing lender. Beacon Bank, responsive, reliable, reassuring, and the best place. If you need a partner in your business venture, stop by Beacon Bank, any of their locations in Duluth or the Twin Cities, Eden Prairie, Shorewood, and beyond. And
Sid?
We haven't gotten to 85 yet, though. We only hit 65.
It was an awful game. It just was a bad game. We only had Bruno. We only had one rep. You got to remember.
But they did have Morris, Winfield, Molitor, so they had the hometown guys at least.
Yes, yeah, he had the St. Paul angle. We had 3 St. Paul guys, but the game was just like National League got a couple runs early, and the American League never did anything, and it was just kind of a flat game.
Well, Ralph Hawk, I'm trying to remember.
We were talking about Ralph Hawk during the commercial break, who was a part of the Twins and the Yankees. Yeah. What about him?
Ralph Hawk at one time was manager of the Yankees, and then how they wanted some kind of a general manager, and
in Minnesota,
Howard Fox brought in Ralph Hawk to kind of advise him. But like he said, Andy MacPhail was the first
real general manager.
He was general manager.
Or you're out there making trades and things like that.
Well, he made some good trades. The year they won, he got Mike Marshall. He got.
Yeah, but he wasn't there when Marshall.
No. Jeff Reardon. Jeff Reardon. They got Jeff Reardon, not Mike Marshall. Jeff Reardon.
Yeah, Jeff Reardon.
Jeff Reardon, Dan Gladden, and Don Baylor late, right? Yeah. That would have been the 3 big moves of '87.
Yeah.
Bach brought in Mike Marshall, damn near over Calvin's dead body, I might add.
Why did Calvin not want Mike Marshall? Was an effective closer.
He was the #1 bleep disturber with the union.
I thought
he was the #1 guy firing up the whole union. Dick Moss was his buddy, and Marshall. However, there's a famous story about Mock trying to convince Calvin to sign Mike Marshall, and he says, he's 36 years old. And Mock says, yes, but he's a freak, meaning a freak of physical nature. And Calvin says, I know, that's why I don't want him. He thought he was a freak mentally.
Mock was really upset. He thought he could win the thing with Mike Marshall.
You know, I got one aside. You and I went to the All-Star game in Milwaukee a few years ago.
Yeah.
That has to be one of the low points in baseball.
The tie.
They had the home run derby, and then we went to the parties. And I remember this. There was a downpour. I mean, it was like a 3-inch rainfall that night, and it washed everything out. And then the next night they had the tie.
That was the best home run contest ever because they were full-blown last steroid year, man.
Yeah, that's right, man. And they were hitting them.
They were sitting.
I wonder how the home run contest will be here in this one.
Well, it's going to be a little cooler.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's going to get in maybe the 50s on game night.
I heard it's going to be the lowest highs, in history, but it'll be okay.
It's a fun time. To remember.
As long as it doesn't rain, who cares?
Yeah, good stuff, guys. Good look back.
Thank you.
We'll be back here next week, same time, same place, The Sports Show. Have a great All-Star weekend, everybody. Enjoy, and we'll see you back here next week.
The Sports Show is brought to you in part by Canterbury Park 24/7 Card Club. Don't forget the Card Club at Canterbury Park. Cambria, makers of quality quart surfaces. Ticket King. For the best price on tickets anywhere, try Ticket King. And Soundpoint Audiology. Life is worth hearing.